Yeah, I was at a Diddy party. I was one of the party favors. But I told you, nobody tells on Diddy. Maria Z, I did that interview in 2021. We made sure, I already knew, that Diddy and Oprah is about to get arrested.
One of the first questions, I'll be honest, that I'm going to look at when I look at some of the communities involved is how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list.
2025 just dropped its first bombshell. Could the LA fires really be a sneaky ploy to torch evidence hiding in Diddy's mansion? Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about the massive wildfires tearing through Los Angeles. Currently, 27 people are known to have lost their lives in the Los Angeles area after destructive wildfires. And what's worse is that it's cost the country a lot of real estate. The fires have led to the destruction of thousands of structures, with early estimates indicating that the total damage and economic loss could range between $60 billion and $130 billion. With most of these homes belonging to celebrities, the internet has started speculating that Mother Nature might not just cause these fires.
California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think.
According to Mel Gibson and a few other whistleblowers, these flames could be Hollywood's version of a shredder and basically a way of burning evidence fast. Now, let's talk about Ali Carter, another voice in this drama. Months ago, she warned her followers to watch out for distractions, like fires and explosions, because the elites would do anything to hide their skeletons. And here we are, fires, explosions, and a whole lot of destruction right in the middle of Hollywood. In October 2024, she hinted at another upcoming arrest and promised more revelations. The video circulated on social media about a month after Diddy's own arrest. In the video, she warned, watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too.
A lot's about to come out. Another arrest is coming again. Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to trafficking. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion or a fire. It wasn't an accident.
Ali Carter is an alleged trafficking survivor. Ali Carter, who gained attention in November 2020, recently released videos detailing the abuse she endured during Diddy's freak-off parties. Not many people believed her at first, but with everything coming out, she's got some fans on her side now. The wildfires had a strong impact on the celebrity community in Los Angeles. People like Paris Hilton, Spencer Pratt, Adam Brody, Anna Faris, and Bella Hadid lost their homes to the fires. The widespread destruction of particular celebrity homes has led to various conspiracy theories by many other influences, including suggestions that the fires were orchestrated to destroy evidence of illegal activities linked to certain celebrities.
There's a lot of people, being quite conspiratory in various other videos, saying that they're burning evidence. This is them ahead of the P. Diddy trial, getting rid of all the evidence of stuff they've been up to.
Now, consider this. If illegal activities were ever tied to these events, how much physical evidence could a property like Diddy's mansion hold? Guest lists, incriminating videos, or even material suggesting exploitation could exist within its walls. The timing of these fires is so convenient for a narrative where evidence may have been safeguarded or destroyed elsewhere under the guise of a natural disaster. Some of the celebrities whose houses got burnt down have also been tied to these wild speculations. Paris Hilton, the queen of tabloid culture, lost her $8.4 million Malibu home to the fires. She has been posting about the emotional toll this event has taken, but the internet had mixed reactions.
Paris Hilton also shared that her residence in Malibu had burned down, and that she'd witnessed the devastation on television. She shared video of the coverage and wrote, "Heartbroken beyond words, sitting with my family, watching the news, and seeing our home in Malibu burn to the ground on live TV is something no one should ever have to experience."
Some people sympathized with her, while others felt that because it was just one of her many homes, posting about her loss was insensitive. However, her Malibu residence wasn't just a house. It was a place filled with cherished memories, including moments like watching her young son Phoenix take his first steps. One of the wildest theories is that because she was a regular attendee at Diddy's extravagant white parties, which many people think was just a cover for freak-offs, she could benefit from her and Diddy's mansion burning down. Over 2 decades ago, Paris attended Diddy's white party with her friend Kim Kardashian. The two have not been photographed together recently, but a recent interview with King Combs, Diddy's son, makes it seem like she is still hanging out with Diddy.
What's the strangest interaction you've had at a party that was like, what's happening right now?
I remember I was lit and I just started dancing with Paris Hilton. I was like, this is kind of crazy.
That is kind of nuts. What song was playing?
I don't even know. It was one of those nights.
Yeah, okay.
Dancing with Paris Hilton was the strangest thing he had ever experienced at a party? Let that sink in. It makes one wonder what sort of party it was and what went down. Paris's love of being the life of the party and her willingness to embrace the wild side of fame placed her squarely in the center of many of these party gatherings. Now, with her Malibu mansion reportedly affected by the fires, one can't help but wonder, did that property house any secrets from her past party days? Paris has always maintained her larger-than-life persona, but beneath the surface lies a history of leaked videos, legal entanglements, and controversies that suggest a deeper connection to the excesses of Hollywood's elite. Could her home have contained evidence that might resurface to reignite past scandals? Let's not forget that Diddy's been in the hot seat lately, with lawsuits piling up like crazy. In March 2024, federal officials raided the music producer's Miami and Los Angeles homes as part of the federal sex trafficking investigation.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
There has been a lot going on with the case, but Diddy appeared at a pre-trial hearing in December 2024, and his main trial is set to begin on May 5th, 2025. Prosecutors told the court they expect to turn over all evidence to the defense by the end of the month, and Diddy even hugged his attorneys as he was led out of the courtroom. Allegedly, before the trial, there were plans to carry out more searches in both of his homes to find more evidence of his freak-off parties. You see, rumor has it that Diddy's homes were equipped with hidden cameras, particularly in bedrooms, to capture intimate moments without guest consent. In fact, there were so many cameras that even the bathrooms were not safe. He allegedly took footage for blackmail purposes. Some people say that he threatened to expose compromising recordings to force individuals to either give him money or do certain favors. As the case progressed, many lawyers admitted to seeing videos of Diddy being intimate with another celebrity.
One particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
It all just sounds like a mafia movie, but who is to say that actual events like these did not inspire these movies? While no footage has been released yet, if there are other videos or cameras that previous raids missed, it could all be gone if Diddy's mansion gets burned. Some allege that there's even a Diddy list that might not only expose the freak-offs, but also implicate attendees in questionable or illegal behavior. From the use of illicit substances to allegations of exploitation or shady deals, the potential revelations could shatter reputations. These are not the only reasons people think the LA fires were caused to burn Diddy's home. Some people also speculate that there's a tunnel in Diddy's home that celebrities do not want the public to discover.
Well, the Diddy news is not going to stop because a tunnel was also found in Diddy's home. Yes, you heard that correct. Diddy has a dungeon.
That's right. Diddy's lavish Los Angeles mansion has been connected to hidden passageways and tunnels, as well as the Playboy mansion and even Michael Jackson's old crib. It takes the influence of his freak-offs to a whole new level, because this would mean that certain celebrities would be able to attend the parties without being connected to them. Diddy's estate has an underwater swimming tunnel that leads to a fabulous grotto. This isn't some hush-hush secret. It's a well-documented feature of his home. But the tunnel is still a rumor because there's not been any substantial evidence to prove that it actually exists. Isn't it strange that Diddy's LA mansion, surrounded by all sorts of wild rumors, just happens to be tied to the LA fire as well? Coincidence? Maybe. If this house did get burned in the LA fires, the video evidence and even tunnels might just become a mystery forever buried in the rubble. Even celebrities like Mel Gibson, who also lost his home in the LA fires, have spoken about how negligent the leaders were regarding the fires.
But one thinks that the resources, and the capabilities of the men and women will be on standby, that they'll be able to cope with any situation that comes up. But apparently, some people were asleep on the job, mainly our leaders there.
Wildfires, especially in a state as large and as prone to them as California, tend to happen every year. But the fact that they were so widespread and took out some of the most high-profile properties has people questioning whether the disaster was, at the very least, poorly managed to the benefit of specific individuals. In times of crisis, power dynamics can shift, and some could argue that local and state officials might have been so caught up in handling other political and economic matters that they allowed these fires to become a tool for their agendas. One of the things that leaders can benefit from is the destruction of high-profile properties like Mel Gibson's Malibu mansion, which could be a sort of reset for the area. There's always a chance that more shady groups within political and corporate circles might see such a disaster as a way to gain control of valuable property. Catherine Austin Fitts, a former official in the George Bush administration, also commented on the California wildfires on her podcast, Financial Rebellion. She suggested looking at patterns and the communities affected by the fires. In particular, she asked how many people connected to Sean Diddy Combs were impacted by the fires.
What I want to see, what I usually look at in situations like this is I look at the patterns of who got wiped out and how. And, one of the first questions, I'll be honest, that I'm going to look at when I look at some of the communities involved is how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list.
She is pointing to patterns, folks. Patterns of whose homes were targeted and whose conveniently stayed standing. Add to that the explosions caught on camera during these wildfires, and things start to feel less like an act of God and more like an act of Hollywood. Speculating on this stuff is like playing in the wild, wild west of gossip and theories. It's tempting to lean into the idea that these fires were deliberate and connected to Diddy's world of powerful, mysterious, and sometimes questionable dealings. But at the same time, it could all just be a coincidence. The fires were devastating, yes, but it could just be as simple as dry weather, mismanagement, or bad luck. Plus, there's that alleged leaked phone call between Diddy and his son, where he supposedly dropped some cryptic advice about pizza boxes.
I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza.
What pizza boxes, Diddy? The phrasing of these code words left some listeners speculating that this wasn't just a regular fatherly conversation. Could Diddy have been using these phone calls as a way to communicate something more covert? Perhaps related to his ongoing legal issues or something darker? We know it's a stretch to think this call is connected to the LA fires or that Diddy was actually involved in the fire, but it's not the first time someone would have used arson to cover up a crime. Deborah Green's case is one of the more infamous instances where a fire wasn't just a natural disaster or a tragic accident. It was a deliberate act of arson used to mask something far darker beneath the surface. In 1995, Deborah Green, a woman from Kansas, set her house on fire, and the fire claimed the lives of her 2 children. But the horror doesn't end there. The fire was actually a cover-up for a much darker crime, the unaliving of her children. She was eventually convicted of setting the fire to end her family's lives and to hide her involvement in their unaliving. The idea of these conspiracies is not necessarily that the homeowners themselves deliberately set the fires, but that someone could have used the destructive power of fire to remove evidence or destroy something deemed too dangerous or incriminating. Remember that Diddy is facing a very long time in jail if he loses his court case.
We represent thousands of survivors of abuse, and never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100+ cases.
With so many victims coming forward, Diddy has been hit with more than 120 additional sexual assault lawsuits since his September 2024 arrest, with some of the accusers alleging he abused them when they were minors. The rapper has maintained his innocence, but we'll let the court decide that on May 5th. Is it all a coincidence, or is there more to the story? If Diddy's parties were as wild as the whispers suggest, and if those events held secrets that could damage reputations or careers, the destruction of these homes might conveniently close a chapter that many would rather keep buried. Or maybe the fires, random and devastating, are simply a natural disaster that's become speculation. Even in tragedy, the public remains captivated by the idea that the rich and famous are always one scandal away from being exposed. For now, what was lost in the fires remains a mystery, but the questions linger. Could there have been more to these homes than met the eye? And will those questions ever be answered? What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment below.